What did you find and what did it tell you?
We noticed a drop in pressure that morning that couldn't be explained. And so initially during that day, I thought it was potentially a leak in the cable system. And you know, there's construction companies working all the time. We thought it might have been a leak. But the only problem was that we couldn't find a leak. So this went on throughout the day. I worked that late into that evening trying to figure out what the problem was. And ultimately what happens about midnight, I finally went home because I couldn't see anymore. And then we discovered that it just simply continued until about 4 o'clock the next day when the water pressure started to recover. So as it recovered, we knew that it was no longer a leak. We knew it was a case of tampering. So initially what appeared to be a leak turned out not to be a leak.
And so I guess initially what told you that it was tampering, if I'm understanding correctly, was the fact that it wasn't just, okay, drop and drop. The moment it came back up, you knew that there was some intentionality.
Yes, and especially over the ensuing days as we began to isolate the problem, it was clear that it was not a leak. It was in fact a tampering issue. It was the only thing that could explain the swings in pressure that we had been experiencing.
At what point did you find out? I mean the piece that you showed me. At what point did you find that and then become aware, of course, that was the cause of the tampering?
We're talking about the orifice?
Yes.
Oh, actually, I never did find a cause of it. So I'll explain that. As we began to look for the cause of this from the perspective of tampering, we were able to isolate several areas within this distribution system. And it appeared like I'd get going down a track and isolating, and then all of a sudden the problem would go away. So what we surmised was that we had people either watching my whereabouts or just trying to figure out, I'm going to take water for 5 hours and no more, and then I'm going to turn it off again. So it made trying to find the source of the tamper extremely difficult, and in fact we never have. Right now I'm presently doing an audit in this area to try and closer identify, looking into cisterns, making sure the water flow is normal, and observing what our pressures are doing in the meantime.
So you are sort of looking for the area in which this is occurring still?
Yes, I'm actually looking for the individual that caused this.
So once you find sort of the geographical spot where this is taking place, how where do you go from there to try to track down the individual?
I have to look at individual cisterns. I have to look and examine the flow control and making sure that the water that's coming into their systems is the normal amount. Rather than a full 3/4 inch line running into the cisterns, it should be just simply like a slow tap running in a house.
So since 4 o'clock on July 6th, you've seen more drops and rises?
Yes, since that date we had planned drops and rises in the system. For example, where I'm standing right now, I'm looking at a vault, which is the water source, and we installed a pressure gauge in this vault, which had not been put in its initial build phase. So that gave me an additional tool to use my sensor, which is in an area directly south of us, and it also allowed me to use this pressure gauge in this vault to assist me in helping to isolate the areas within this little distribution cluster.
And so I guess outside of the planned sort of looks inside, I guess, has there been any more tampering that wasn't you?
There perhaps has been some instances where we have seen a small increment drop in pressure that I couldn't explain. The day of that event, we were sustaining pressure drops well into the 50-pound range. What I've noticed now is we've noticed pressure drops that maybe are more in the 25-pound range, which means that it's more than likely an individual cistern as opposed to multiple.
So I mean, and I want to try and touch on, of course, the individual themselves. So Is it likely that they would need to have a knowledge of of a cistern and how it works in order to tamper in this way?
So all of our customers are familiar with the way the cistern and the emitter system installed is designed. So most of them would have general knowledge enough to crack open a union, let's say, or be able to bypass the emitter system that we do use with some simple tools, a couple of pipe wrenches. It's impossible to make it 100% secure. We're relying on trust of our members, just like they're relying on our co-op to ensure that we're delivering good water. It's a two-way street, and unfortunately in this case that trust has been violated.
So is the motivation, as best as you can tell, as simple as I don't want to pay my water bill?
No, the motivation is more like I've ran out of water inadvertently. That could be explained by any number of reasons. You know, perhaps they had a garden hose connected at the back of their house, and you know, one of the kids opened the garden hose and left it on. That could empty a cistern pretty quick. You could have situations where even something simple like toilet run-on in the home can use a fair amount of water in a hurry. And so any of those could be contributing causes, but tampering is a case where the person has temporarily bypassed our system in order to, you know, take care of a situation where they've had a lack of water. And it's a temporary measure, unfortunately, and if it's our equipment at fault, that would have been a free service charge to remedy the situation and correct it.
And just a couple more questions. So, does this mean, unfortunately, that there might have to be some security protocols now put in place?
We have increased our punitive measure. We had a tampering policy that has been increased. We used to have a $500 tampering fee, and then if you committed the offense again, you would lose your right to water. The present tampering fee is increased to $1,000 plus extra charges, which could be water recovery, administrative costs, and you would lose your water for 6 months. That's the first offense. The second offense remains the same. You're going to be fined again, but you're going to lose your water permanently. You know, in that measure, we've tried to do it. From the perspective of security, we're implementing new systems where on service calls, I will be installing a device that will lock the valve structure that's in the cistern so that it can't be tampered with in the future.
Let's say the unfortunate situation where somebody does actually run out of water. This person decided to tamper, but what should somebody actually do in that case?
Okay, if somebody has ran out of water, the thing to do is to call me. Our phone number is posted on our website. I can give you our number right now. It's 403-380-6918. Service calls are free if you've ran out of water. What we want to do is we want to remedy the situation so you won't run out of water again. Right now there's a zero tolerance for tampering, and we just want you to respect the water, and we want you to call if there's a problem. And we want you to call like on a Monday instead of Friday at 3 o'clock so that you know, I can get there at the first part of the week and take care of it. Water delivery, we deliver 2,160 liters a day for a 1-unit cistern. That's quite a bit of water, and you know, you shouldn't run out of water. That water is per day, so that you know, it'll recover rather quickly in a cistern.
Okay, I think I got everything I need from you. Is there anything I missed from your side?
Yeah, I would say just a final thank you. One of the things I would like to say just in conclusion is we want to thank our customers. By and large, we have had no problem. It's been a great cooperative effort from our co-op members, also from Alberta Health and also from Alberta Environment and Parks. I've appreciated their assistance in this matter, and I would also like to thank our Lethbridge county sampling team, which does our chlorine sampling and our bacteriological samples on a weekly basis. It's great to have their cooperation as well.